What do we got? Better Bachelor and Black Pigeon Speaks. Let's see what Better Bachelor's up to. This has to do with Will and Jada Smith. Rather than struggle to date when young, age and good finances win the day for men. Yikes. Social media bans, left versus right. Can't a man take a vacation without the world falling apart? Let's see him bitch about the fact that I assume this is going to be about the fact that, like, Reddit has been doing a lot of bans of racist and turfy communities recently, which has been fantastic. Like, Gender Critical got banned from Reddit. It's a Fetish got banned from Reddit, which was a sub that said that trans people really are secretly fetishists, which is incredibly fucking offensive, to be honest. And tons of other stuff, and they got banned. This could have to do with other stuff that I'm not aware of, though, too. The Donald did get banned, yes.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. This is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. I'm on vacation. Obviously, I've taken a few days off. I didn't bother to mention anything to anybody. I just felt like I needed a breath of fresh air, so I went up to the Outer Banks where I had no cell reception.
Did I see the cringe that Will Smith posted about not electing godless leaders? That's weird. Isn't he a Scientologist anyway?
Get you guys a video from the beach up there, but there was no cell reception, so I couldn't upload a video. And then, I made it here to, I'm on Staten Island here in New York visiting some friends, and been at the beach all day today. And, I haven't been online, and I jump online, and I notice all of these, the ban hammer has come down across the board on things. And I'm not going to split screen. I'm just going to reference this myself here. But I noticed that on Reddit, they deleted, completely deleted the Donald Trump community in 2000.
Yeah, that's partially because, for one thing, they were quarantined quite a while ago because they kept brigading and had a lot of racist stuff on the front page. They also ended up, they supported, I believe the Charlottesville protests where Heather Heyer got murdered by an alt-right neo-Nazi or whatever. They were trying to get people to go prior to, of course, that happening. Really, the Donald was a hive of scum and villainy. Anyway, they, a few months ago, were told by Reddit, hey, we're getting rid of a lot of your mods because they refused to actually moderate the community in a reasonable way. And out of protest, the Donald locked all threads. So for 2-3 months or something like that, no new posts were allowed because the mods were refusing to allow Reddit to come in and get better mods. So Reddit just decided, fuck it, they're gone.
Others that are quote-unquote offensive content, which is, they'll say it's hate speech or things like that, but
there are other Donald Trump communities, I'm pretty sure they're still there, just not the Donald.
There's
conservative is still there, which is basically the Donald after the Donald got locked.
Nothing that's really defined as hate speech. There's nothing that defines it as, well, if you say these things, it's bad. And many times when it comes to content where you're being a little critical of when you're being critical of someone else, anyone else.
They're not being a little critical. The Donald literally talked about killing T-slurs. You know what I'm talking about? T-slurs? What I am, but a slur version of transgender. And they were really awful. So, no, it's not just that they were being critical. It's that they were actively promoting violence towards others that were not within their community.
You can be critical of men and you can be critical of white men. But other than that, if you're critical of somebody, it seems somebody takes some issues with it. And so now there's 2,000 Reddit forums that are gone, and then there's a crackdown on Facebook, and they've given the Boogaloo crackdown, they call it. But anything that talks about, upcoming civil strife, as it were, and the Boogaloo, and that's been removed from Facebook. Yeah, Antifa can continue to coordinate events and...
Why can't my Nazi group be allowed, but you allow these people who are against fascism to flourish? I want both sides to be represented equally, says the fascist.
Have meetups and decide where they want to go. And apparently that's not, there's no problems with that. And I have a problem with that. If we're going to, if you're going to shut
Thank you
some
for
people out,
hosting,
you have to
Jeffrey
shut all
Patron.
people out.
Arcana Stamper Blackwell says this didn't highlight the first time, but Washington was actually anti-slavery by the time he died. He had his slaves educated and released upon his wife's death. Not saying he wasn't racist, but his views did evolve to be more egalitarian over time. He recognized the need to correct the sins of the past. I don't know. Ugh. Still, it's not like he was like, I've decided slavery's wrong. Immediately, everyone is free. I will help educate you. He's like, well, I'll educate you. And when my wife dies, you can go. I'm against slavery, but only when I'm done with you. That's still really fucked up, right?
And then the last one I saw is that YouTube just got rid of Stefan Molyneux. And they
I forgot about that. Indeed they did. Good job, YouTube.
said a same thing, that he was saying hateful comments and that he was pushing a white supreme view, which, if you know Stephen Molyneux, that's not true.
What? That's like a huge thing for Stefan Molyneux, is white supremacist dog whistling. I wouldn't even call it dog whistling, it's fucking bullhorns. That says a lot about Better Bachelor, that he thinks that Stefan Molyneux is not a white nationalist.
And all of this happened right within a day or two of each other. And then on YouTube, they also, I think they said they cranked up their filters, and it ended up purging, I don't know the exact number. Maybe you guys can correct some of this, because I haven't been up to date on it, but I see different things. But supposedly anywhere up to 250,000 YouTubers. Others have said it's 25,000. It's hard for me to know what, and I'm kind of on vacation, so I'm not doing too deep a dive here. Some of you can post down below. But the point is that they're ratcheting everything up here when it comes to the election up and coming. And I think this is a good time to say,
regardless of the election, they would be doing this because you people are awful and they don't want you on their platforms. I'm surprised Better Bachelor is even still on here. I'd imagine sometime in the next 6 months he'll get pegged. Not literally, you know what I mean.
say that I think it's important for you guys to try to stay neutral, to try to stay in middle ground. Now that, you have to make a choice when it comes to, obviously, what you want to do when it comes to voting. Or do you want to be on the side that's tearing down statues, or are you on the side that wants to preserve them?
I would like to be on the side that tears down statues that deserve to be teared down, yes. I do not want to be on the side of people who are like, actually, let's talk about how the South, didn't secede because of slavery. It was about states' rights. States' rights to do what? What does that matter? The statues of slavers should come the fuck down, dude. Get over it.
Do you want to keep our Constitution intact and keep the First and Second Amendments to be free, or do you want to...
The First Amendment only says the government cannot silence your speech. It says nothing about private companies giving you a platform despite what you have to say. The Second Amendment also says, in order to preserve a well-regulated militia. Are you part of a well-regulated militia, or do you just own a gun for personal use? Because the Constitution does not say that you are owed a gun for personal use.
Crank them down, and you think hate speech is an actual bad thing and you need to remove it.
And I'm not even, by the way, against personal gun ownership. I'm just saying that that's not what the Constitution says.
What I mean is, you can obviously make a choice and say, I believe that this side is right, or I agree with what this side is stating, and I don't agree what this other side is stating, and so you have taken a choice there. But I think the way that society is being geared up here, both on Twitter and Twitch has removed Trump's political ads, and Twitter's removing conservatives, and again, everything here that I've previously mentioned.
If they're promoting hate speech, yeah. not just randomly. What don't you guys get about it? I assume this is a bad faith argument. I assume you know why. But no, random conservatives are not getting deleted. It's specifically those that promote hate speech or dog whistle hate speech constantly.
It seems very much that everything's trying to get ramped up to where we become very angry at each other. Where, the left is angry at right, right's angry at left. Men are angry at women, women angry at men, black versus white, white versus black, whatever. And I think this is an important time where we keep some neutrality. And we may disagree on politics or on different worldviews.
Man who regularly shits on women and says that they're all whores says, hey, why can't we all come together and support my right to be on the platform? How about no?
But I think we need to keep it in the course of reasonable discussion, where we need to be able...
Exactly. The conservatives and the right cry for the middle when they're losing, except when they're in power, they try and silence everyone they don't like. The hypocrisy. It hurts.
To sit across from somebody, and even if we vehemently disagree with each other, and we don't think the other person's right, the days of sitting still and listening to your opponent or the person that disagrees with you, listening to them, conceding if there's anything good that they've said or that you disagree completely.
Because we've heard what the right has to offer. It seems pretty clear they're intent on promoting the wealth of the 1% and the, oh God, why am I blanking on the word? And the privilege of those who are already in power. That's what they have to promote. People have decided they don't like it. Seems pretty simple. You've been heard. And the answer is no! Arcana Stamber Blackwell says, I was by no means implying that George Washington was not racist, but per the Smithsonian Magazine, of the 9 presidents who owned slaves, only Washington freed his. He resisted efforts to make him a king and established the precedent that no one should serve more than 2 terms as president. He voluntarily yielded power. His enemy, George III, remarked in 1796, as Washington's second term was coming to an end, if George Washington goes back to his farm, he will be the greatest character of... And then it cuts off.
And then you have a discussion about it, and you meet somewhere in the middle. That seems that's all gone now. That's something that it's no longer acceptable. It's not acceptable to just...
Of his age. That's the end of that. Okay. It's interesting.
Be like, well, I see where you're coming from, but I don't agree. For some reason, this is a bad thing now. And it's being... The political atmosphere is so trying to force people to take sides. And I think that's... You can take your side, but I think when it comes to... prepping for battle and getting ready to have a knockdown drag out with the other side, I think that's wrong. And I don't think that does a service to any of you young men out there or anyone else, because it sets up these next 4 or 5 months and maybe even these next couple of years as a real knockdown drag out war. And I don't think that anything positive is going to come out of that. Maybe there is.
Thank you to Bad X for following.
I don't know, but I don't see it. It just seems that it's everything's getting ratcheted up to 15, and it's designed so that we go nuts on each other. And so, that being said, I want you guys to try to keep a clear head. Don't get, I've advised many times not to be on social media. This is a better time than ever, because now if you say the wrong thing, you can lose your job, you can lose your friends, you can lose your...
I am supportive of this. If you are on the right, feel free to get off social media. Excellent. Please get off for your own... I don't know, you like the word liberty a lot. For your own liberty, get off social media. That would be excellent.
Family. I think it's a good time to quietly sit on the sidelines and watch everything go by. And it doesn't mean that you don't have that you don't vote a certain way that you believe, or you don't defend your beliefs. I think you should always defend your beliefs and be a strong person when it comes to that. But there's also a point in time where you say, choose your battles. Social media, you're not going to change the world by screaming at someone on social media. You're not going to change the world by getting in a fist fight with somebody on the street because you guys have a disagreement. The only way that you're going to come to a real change is to make sure that A, that you're voting the way you want to vote, and B, that you are able to separate yourself away from the chaos and try to find a safe place to safe place, a safe place to kind of view and make sure that your assessment of the situation is right. Because I cannot tell you how many times I'll see a news story, and after a little digging, the half of it was left out. I can't tell you how many times that a quote was taken out of context, and the story completely changes. And the media and
I'd love to see an example of what he thinks that is, because if he's talking about, like, Donald Trump, for instance, Trump in context is often much worse than out of context.
politics and these corporations, they're all definitely trying to make sure that we fall in line with their views and their beliefs. And if you don't,
Let me be clear about something that this guy doesn't seem to get. Companies do not have views. Companies follow what they think the majority of their consumer base believes. So if you're looking at corporations and they are, tweeting out things like Black Lives Matter or stuff for Pride Month, it's not because that company has some moral center it's drawing those beliefs from. It's because that company is a mirror of its consumer base. And if they believe that the people who buy their products will respond positively to them doing the hashtag Black Lives Matter or doing Pride Month stuff, then they will do it. The morals of companies are reflections of the consumer base that they represent. It's very simple. So it's not that companies are trying to get you to fall in line because they're, pro-gay or, pro-Black Lives Matter. It's the fact that society in general is telling you this is what the general consensus on these issues is. The majority of people are on board with Black Lives Matter at this point. The majority of people are in favor of LGBTQIA plus people at this point. If you are not, I guess do you, but understand that you're going against what the majority of people understand as moral. And that always comes with risks, because again, typically, not always, but society's moral stances come from a place of empathy with others within that community. So, for instance, over time, people in the United States have realized, from listening and understanding what gay people, trans people had to say, hey, life is hard enough, we're just human beings, we just want to live our lives the way that make us comfortable, and everyone pretty much said, okay, that's reasonable. It took a long time and a lot of fighting, and some throwing bricks, looking at you, Stonewall, but the fact is we got here, right? And if you still find yourself on the side that doesn't think LGBTQ people deserve equal treatment and deserve to be represented, you're free to that opinion. You do have a First Amendment right to that opinion, but no one is obligated to platform you and allow you on their website to spout that shit. It's the reality of the situation. The same thing applies with people of color in this country. It's a long road ahead still, but the fact is, as a society, we've become more aware of the plight of people of color, especially in regard to their interactions with the police, especially because of technology and what it allows us to see that used to be hidden. So people are like, hey, fuck this shit, hashtag Black Lives Matter, and we can talk all day about, how much, armchair social justice is worth anything. I think it's beneficial, and I think it does help to get messaging out there to get people on the same page about these issues, because action is spurred from thought. The more people you can get on board with that idea, the more people who will work actively to make that idea come to fruition, whether it's police reforms or defunding the police, whatever. I lost my train of thought. But either way, these things matter, and if you find yourself on the wrong side of these issues, it's not some grand conspiracy by companies to get you to believe certain ways. It's just the fact that most people disagree with your position.
Just like Stefan Molyneux and some of these others, you get removed. There's none of the channels that I watch have really I think I've watched a couple of Stefan's videos, but nothing big. I haven't seen.
So then how can you boldly claim that you think he's not a white nationalist if you've only seen a couple of his videos? Because, like, if I heard that someone was a white nationalist and I'd only seen one or two of their videos, even if in those videos I didn't see anything that was particularly white nationalist-y, I'd go, oh shit, they got banned for that, though. That's probably the case. Shouldn't you look into this more before you claim that he's not that?
Any that I watch be removed, but there is a point in time where this may happen. And whether it's the political world, whether it's a channel like mine where, we pick fun of some bad actions of others, we don't know. And
no, you pick on women a lot. You just pick on women a lot.
So the best,
not just individuals, I'm talking as a group.
The best thing you can do is to make sure that you know this is coming, and if you can prepare yourself both financially and for making sure that you have ways to protect you and your family, and make sure that you're hopefully financially stable, or as best as you can, so that if things kind of go crazy over here, that you'll have a way out. I would recommend doing that at this point in time. I don't know what's going to happen, but the big thing that I always try to tell you guys is to be prepared. Always be prepared for anything and everything, because you never know what's going to come. You never know what's going to happen. And part of that is fiscal, responsibility and being prepared financially. But it's also being prepared both to defend yourselves and to be safe, but to also keep your sanity through all this. Keep a level head through this. Be ready to have lots of people that disagree with you, and maybe even outright hate you or wish you harm because they don't agree with you. I think this is something that may be here. So I just thought
I don't wish this guy harm, but Better Bachelor, the reason some people may is probably because you're a hateful person that spreads misinformation to tons of young men and put them down the path to this weird MGTOW incel ideology that we've seen can lead into some small segment of them legitimately hurting other people. Like, you just spout bullshit. That's why people dislike you.
I would let you guys, number one, know that I'm in one piece, and I have not been demonetized or removed or anything like that. Number two, I'm on vacation. And number three, I think we've got some challenging times coming up ahead. Many of you have recommended to me before to get over on BitChute and on other sites, and I'm going to do so. One of the reasons why I haven't is I don't have unlimited data as far as uploading. So every time I upload a video, if it's, a gigabyte...
Jesus Christ, can you imagine living in 2020 and having not unlimited data? Yikes.
Every time I upload...
Especially as a YouTuber, oof.
Upload 2 videos a day to YouTube. In the course of a month, that's 100 gigabytes or 60 gigabytes or so. Were I to duplicate that over on BitChute, all of a sudden I've doubled that to 120. So I will start getting stuff over at BitChute as I can. But the other reason I haven't as well is because YouTube does, since I am still monetized with YouTube, I do get, if you don't have an ad blocker and you watch even the first 6 seconds or 10 seconds of an ad on my channel, I still get a little bit for that. It's not a lot, but it's enough that I don't have to come to you guys and say, hey, I need your donations. If you donate something and give to me, it does help a lot. But I don't need it. I don't need it because YouTube gives me ad revenue. Well, if I end up getting banned here on YouTube and I end up going over to BitChute, then it's, whatever you guys donate to me is what I get, and it is what it is. And as far as that goes, I really don't mind. The problem is, though, that if the donations aren't quite enough, I have to go get a regular job. I am...
Oh, no! I love doing this, and I love doing YouTube, but at the end of the day, if I need to get a job, I'll get a job. It's how it is. Speaking of which, you can always tip me down below at the Streamlabs, whatever.
semi-retired, but the donation or the finances that I get from YouTube and the advertisement is enough to pay for my insurance for my bus and gas and food.
MMO addicted with 100 bits. Oh, I had dial-up not so long ago. Holy shit. That sucks.
That's I don't have many bills.
Thanks for coming to the
living in
stream,
the bus.
Bailey
It's
Quinn.
probably a couple $1,000s a year. But by the time I add in gas and travel and stuff like that, it may become quite a bit more than that. If I lose the YouTube portion of this, it means I need to go find a 9-to-5 job, or I need to get more donations. And I'm not very good, and I'm not very comfortable at sitting here and begging for donations. That's just not my thing. So we'll see what happens as far as when and if things happen on my YouTube channel, and if I move over to BitChute and however things continue on over there. If you guys have donated to me or support me on either the Patreon or Subscribestar, I appreciate that very much. And we'll play it out and see how things go. As it stands, I don't think there's going to be any surprises, but Molyneux had 1 million subs and thousands of videos uploaded, and they wiped him off the map in one snap. So to say that couldn't happen to me, it could happen at any moment in time.
Well, try not to promote white nationalism. That'll help. All the hate for women certainly isn't gonna help, though, so good luck with that. Fork Void with 500 bits. Thank you very